Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Jason Crosby on his LP Cryptologic.
You said that you did a lot of instrumental, that you've written a lot of instrumentals. Do you want to talk a little bit about, have you played much live instrumental or all instrumental? We've talked to a few bands recently, an Oregon trio named Oregon Fairchild and another band named Connives that are a trio, and they do all instrumental. And we were talking about how you have a smaller audience and how it's harder to keep an audience's attention when you're doing all instrumental. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, what comes to mind is that joke about the difference between a rock musician and a jazz musician. A rock musician plays four chords in front of thousands of people, while a jazz musician plays thousands of chords in front of four people. Um,
Oh, that's good.
um, well, to answer your first question, I have done, historically a lot of, not a lot, but I, over a lot of years, played some Jason Crosby and Friends shows where we mainly play instrumental music. And that goes back to 1999 as well. And they don't happen very often. And generally, in order to draw a crowd, I'll try to time these shows around my other work as a sideman with people that are of interest. So it started at the Wetlands, and I would do it in March and have Oteil and Derek come down and Susan come. And I did that every year from 2000 through 2003, and then we moved to some other clubs in New York City like Tribeca Blue, no, Ace of Clubs, and there's another place in Hell's Kitchen. The name is evading me, but Robert Randolph, came down to those, and and Oteil came down to those, and so things like that, and even when I first moved to California, the first Crosby and Friends I did here, I had Bob Weir and Dave Schools and Clementi, and it was a great way to establish something that normally people wouldn't be lining up to see. But my shows now are a little bit more varied, and and if I have a guest that sings, obviously they'll sing. But I think it's kind of tough for me right now because I lost my younger brother a couple of years ago, and he was kind of my partner when it came to like playing this kind of music, what we're talking about, the instrumental. So I'm at a little bit of a crossroads right now as to, how I try to continue that. And one thing I'm doing to do that is the next couple of Jason Crosby and Friends shows that are going to happen in this summer are going to be basically as record release parties for my brother's record. And
Okay.
so
What is that called?
uh, it's called Sailing Home, and it's coming out July 28th. And when he passed, I spent a lot of time with his wife, kind of going through and archiving his music because he was a prolific writer, as well as being an amazing bass player, drummer, and guitar player. And we found this album of unfinished music on his laptop, which his wife gave me permission to bring out here to California. And so I brought a couple of his best friends with me, and we went into a studio. Dave Schools produced it, and we finished his record. And Schools played on a couple tracks that Chris hadn't played bass on yet. And one of his bandmates wrote some lyrics and sang some tunes, but a lot of that record is instrumental. So so we're gonna, moving forward, I think at least the next couple Crosby and Friends shows are going to be playing some of my tunes, but a lot of my brother's instrumental music, and getting his stuff out there and this record out there. And my family and I have started a nonprofit in his name, which is going to benefit he was a librarian for 20 years as well as being a musician. So it's going to benefit music education and libraries. And actually, the Glen Cove Library where he worked is naming a room after him, the community room. They're going to name after him, and we're going to raise some money for them. Just trying to
It's beautiful.
just
You're honoring his memory. It's so beautiful.
yeah. Thank you. I mean, he. Sorry to take such a serious turn on the podcast, but he was
No, it's
he was
okay.
he was my favorite person on the planet, and it's hard to be without him. But this doing these things really keeps me connected with him, keeps his name in the conversation, and kind of keeps him in the room for me. So
There you go.
yeah.
I am an only child. My kids have each other, 2 sisters, and I marvel at their relationship because I've never got that one.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It
Luckily
is.
for me, I have two older brothers that I can lean on in these times as well.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.